Hello, good evening. Welcome to the show. It is already March the 10th of 2025. We are off to an amazing start. I am your host, Mr. Kevlar. Treat them well, and yes, I try to treat them well. Joined with me, as always, Mr. Skip from Skip's Trophies and More, and Mr. Diamond Dirty D. Fellas, how are we? To everybody out there, sorry we are late tonight, but we got a good show for you, fellas. What is going on?
Still recovering. I'm better now. For all y'all that don't know, I fell and hurt my knee about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now. And I'm finally able to put weight on it, but, still in the recovery stages. So thank y'all for the prayers, and all y'all that don't like me, I don't care.
Oh, my God.
Well, Mr. D, your screen is black before we get started.
Yes, sir.
There we go. There it is. Hey.
What's going on? We got some technical difficulties over here, but doing well, man. Doing well. Got a eventful show today, but everything's all good over here.
All right.
Okay, to reconnect your destination.
Well, I'm going to start by telling you the NCAA baseball record for grand slams is 14 in a season, and Tennessee has hit 8 in 15 games.
I don't think they break it.
I think they're just
People don't realize how hard
right
it is. People don't realize how hard it is to get the bases loaded, number one, and to have the right batter up to hit the home run. Granted, any one of them can hit it, but normally the grand slams come from people that can pretty much take the ball out at will. And I don't see 6 more. I mean, it's an anomaly for to have 8 and 15 games, but that's not easy. That's why. How long has that record stood?
That I do not have here.
Okay. I bet you it's been at least 20 years. So, when records stand like that, it's a reason they stand for so long, because it's just not simple.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is just pretty much the start of college baseball season, so we will see. D, your screen is black once.
Yeah, I know. I'm setting the show back up on what I was on Facebook.
Well, while you set that up, let me just go ahead and tell you, your boy Mike Bobo was extended through 2026.
Somebody like him.
Looks like screen passes are in your future, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I did see that. It is what it is, man.
But fans of teams, me included, anytime something goes wrong with the team, we want to blame players when it's obvious, and then we want to blame the coach because the players didn't do what they were coached to do. I understand where y'all are coming from by saying get rid of Mike Bobo, but like I used to say when Matt Ryan was a Falcon quarterback, who are y'all gonna get to replace him? He does have a winning pedigree. You get what I'm saying? It's not like he's just one of them coaches that, just put in there and, oh, man, you call offense.
He ain't won nothing.
So he wasn't there when they all won the championships?
He wasn't the offensive coordinator.
The question was he there when y'all won the championship? That makes pedigree.
Yeah, well, when you've been the offensive coordinator, in my opinion, longer than the other guy that left, and you ain't won, why you been the offensive coordinator? I don't count you being a consultant as a coach.
Okay. What was the boy from Alabama that was offensive coordinator for Nick and kept getting head coaching jobs and couldn't win? What was his name?
Lane Kiffin. He's the head coach of Ole Miss.
Exactly. Yeah. Same thing, right?
No, I don't count.
That don't apply to him?
Not to him, because he got a head coaching job. He been everywhere. I don't say that applies to him because he didn't won a national championship as the damn offensive coordinator. This clown here hasn't. That's what I'm trying to get to tell you. Okay. We ain't won since he been the offensive coordinator. He was the offensive coordinator in Mark Richt's era, and now he's back with Bobo doing this thing. Let's go. I'm not finna start.
Kind of like talking about Dallas, ain't it?
Man, shut the fuck, man.
Not really. Not really, because we got again we got some recent championships. So.
What did I do? All right. Well, free agency. Oh shit, what is that? Free agency has been going berserk today. And one of the trades is Justin Fields.
Free, that's not a trade, Jeff.
No, he was a free agent.
Oh, shit, my bad. Justin Fields going to the New York Jets.
I think. Go ahead, D. Go ahead.
This is this. It's not disturbing, but what I'm finna say, I hope y'all remember this. This franchise is still in shambles. I know they got a new coach and this is a new regime, but do you know the Jets had the opportunity to draft Justin Fields and they went with the other guy? I had his name earlier. Good Lord, now he's a backup, but they did not pick him. I'm gonna get his name before we get off.
Wasn't Minshew?
No. It wasn't Minshew.
No,
It was the other cat they kept trading him out with.
Trey Lance went first, and he went behind, Trey Lance at the time. I knew his name, and now it's just I done went blank on him. But anyway, you signed him to a $40 million deal. Skip. He gets $30 million guaranteed. It's a two-year deal. But the Jets got their quarterback. He's reunited with his receiver from Oklahoma State. And Garrett Wilson. Hopefully that works out and they get a line to protect him and he gets a fresh start. Interesting, but I'm happy for him. It just showed me how the Jets are just in disarray because you could have drafted him 4 years ago and not had this issue.
Well, see, hindsight. That's hindsight, though. When you say they could have did. I'm quite sure, the biometrics, the paperwork, and the stats read that this is the quarterback for what we need, which is why they didn't draft him then, because he still went in the first round. So it couldn't have been about money; it had to be something else. Why they thought the quarterback that they did draft was a better fit for them than Justin Fields. I think it's good that he's there now because there's no expectations. When he was in Chicago getting beat all to hell, they still expected him to do what, everybody else did in their first year. Throw this many touchdowns, don't turn the ball over, blah, blah, blah. But he was getting beat up. So now it's going to be one of those things where we're going to see if this works. They're going to plug and play everything, in my opinion. And he showed in Pittsburgh that if you give him something to play with, he can make plays. So I think the expectation level is going to be low for him. So I'm proud of him getting guaranteed money too.
Well, as it sits right now, the Jets believe that he will play the position like no other in franchise history.
Gosh. Some people say the stupidest stuff. Come on, man. Like no other in franchise history?
Like no other in franchise history.
They must forget they used to have Joe. Old Broadway Joe.
Well, here was something that Dee and I talked about for just a second before you jumped in backstage, Skip. Cowboys reach a deal with ex-Bronco Javonte Williams. He's a running back. 1 year, $3 million deal.
Okay. Yeah. That way they won't have a problem dropping him in the second string. I still think they're going to draft a running back.
I believe so as well. I think
so $3 million is nothing.
He was drafted in 2021. So I think that they wanted somebody who has a little bit of experience, which is kind of stupid in my opinion because Rico Dallas is still there. He is a free agent, but he's still in Dallas right now. But so they should re-sign him.
But they would have to pay him more money, more than $3 million.
True.
So we're gonna get a youngster at $3 million, go draft a quarterback, running back, and put him in there, put him out there to the Wolves, and we still got this little bit of seasoning on the one we got backing him up. Makes sense. Versus signing a free agent to 3-4 years at $20 million and being stuck. Mm-hmm. Kind of like that other team here in Atlanta did. We got stuck for that 140.
Well, I heard actually earlier this week, Kirk Cousins went in and said he wanted to be traded to somewhere he would play, and they told him to go sit down, essentially.
Smart.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, he was saying he's going to compete for his job. Go ahead, D.
We've already discussed this. I think they're going to end up moving him. But now the Falcons have all the power in the situation. unless he waives this no trade clause. He had the power, but now he wants to leave. So you're gonna have to either give some money back, restructure the contract, because you're saying you want to be a starter now. And there's some places the Falcons can send him to. It's just what compensation they gonna get in return is the question. And that's the thing if that happens. But it's other stuff that's been transpired outside of what the Falcons then did today. I mean, the Falcons cut Grady Jarrett today. Yep. Was they anchor on the defense, been here over 10 years, and less than skip 30 minutes, he was signed by the Bears and got a bigger contract and got $28 million guaranteed off the rip.
Right.
So
it was a money issue. They knew Grady Jarrett was going to say he wants an extension because I think he had 2 years left on his contract here. And he's due an extension or a raise, so to speak. So you know what? I'm going to ask for an extension. I know y'all can give it to me. Y'all might as well let me go. And they cut ties with him. But back to that thing you said about you were saying about God. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead. Kirk Cousins. When he made the statement, in my opinion, that I'm going to fight for my job, I think he was told in no uncertain terms, there ain't going to be no fighting. You're going to be the backup. And then he said, well, I want to be traded somewhere where I can play. Because you don't make the statement, I'm going to fight for my job, and then say trade me where I can play unless something transpired that we don't know about. This is the part where agents, in my opinion, don't have their players in mind for anything but the money, the wording of the contract. When you get so much guaranteed money, I think some stipulations are tied into that, which is why them benching him is probably going to save them some money. Which, don't get me wrong, he wanted the benching. I'm not saying that, but I just feel like those stipulations, man, with nothing being guaranteed outside of you getting guaranteed dollars, my stipulations would have to be all to my benefit, not the team's.
Well, his stipulations are benefiting him, not the Falcons.
No, okay. So why would you want to get? I can sit down and get my whole check.
Yeah,
man, I'll be the best backup in the world.
But the thing is, he wants out because all what came out through the media. He's not gonna survive even being on the team. The scrutiny that he's gonna receive, being on the bench for the Falcons, it ain't his fault. Well, I'm gonna say it ain't his fault because they didn't cut the check. He got a hellified agent because he's made over $400 million in the league.
He's made more than Tom Brady.
Exactly, and so it ain't that. It's just he's trying to act like he's a competitor and he wants to play. Sir, you derailed a whole team season by lying because that's what you did, lying about an injury and costing the team to lose when they were 6-3 at the time.
And 6-2, and then they were 6-6.
Yes, and you caused the team to derail by your play at the quarterback position, knowing that's the most important piece on a team. So you basically lied.
Well, we're gonna move on from the Falcons. The Steelers went out and got DK Metcalf from Seattle.
Yes. Now we got to figure out, and great pickup for them. To add on to that, the word is that Aaron Rodgers might be their new quarterback.
I've been seeing that storming around.
And they
think he just needs to go ahead and retire.
And breaking news along as you bring up the Steelers, Najee Harris just signed with the Chargers. So they running back is also gone from, basically leaving. So this is free agency. You're gonna see a lot of people moving and shaking. And the guaranteed money is basically their contract, but DK got a new deal and everything. And I think it was good for a fresh start. The only thing this question is, you got DK Metcalf and you got George Pickens. George Pickens is a head case. Hell of a football player, but he's a head case out there. You're gonna have to find somebody to get him the ball. But hey,
I bet you that head case to get his head on straight. because they'll get him up out of there. They got DK too. Get going. Let's see what we can get for you. Let's see if we can get a couple of picks for you.
That is a fact.
So all of that, right? I get it. I'm the man, but if Jordan come to your team, you stop being the man. You become one of the men. You get what I'm saying? So all that head case stuff, you do that when you're the big dog on the porch, but he's no longer that.
Well, what do we think about Geno Smith going to the Raiders?
It was out of left field for me, but it's money. That's the only reason I could see the Seattle Seahawks getting rid of him. He's done too much in the short time he's been there for that team to get them in the playoff run. Matter of fact, they made the playoffs this past year, didn't they? And lost in the first round, if I'm not mistaken.
Seattle.
Well, they were fighting for it up until the last week.
I don't remember.
Whatever they lost. They made the playoffs. They lost.
They lost.
Yeah, they lost. Right. So for them to go to recover like they did from Russell Wilson, and this guy comeback player of the year, whatever, all the accolades that he did get, for them not to say, you know what, we can give you a couple of dollars here until we figure out something along the lines of a quarterback. But you go from him to Sam Darnold, that's a mistake. That's a downgrade. I don't care what nobody say about how long he's been in the league. Going from him to Sam Darnold is a downgrade. And you gave Sam Darnold all the money that you should have gave him.
Well, it was I told you it was a youth thing. He's 8 years younger than Sam Darnold. But the problem I have with it is Tyler Lockett. They let Tyler Lockett go. They traded DK Metcalf. The only wide receiver they has is Njigba, the former Ohio State standout receiver.
He's been there, 2 years? This is third year?
It's going to be his third year. So that's your number one wide out now. It's a youth movement that they're doing. I don't know if the line is going to be able to protect Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold honestly didn't have but this one good year, but look who he was throwing to. Jefferson and the other kid out there. That they got. They had two outstanding ones.
And they had a good offensive line over there too. And a running game.
And a defense. So
and one thing that the last two Seattle quarterbacks have had was mobility.
Yes.
Sam Darnold doesn't have that mobility like the last two guys did. No. So that line didn't have to. If the line broke down, Geno and the guy that Geno replaced is
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. He needs to retire. That's why I forget about him sometimes. They had a little bit more mobility. So if the line broke down, they could scramble a little bit. I don't think Darnold has that ability.
Right.
No. Not at all.
And they could throw on a run, which I don't think Sam Darnold can because he can't run. So, But yeah, they got to start paying these quarterbacks, man, and trying to build for the future versus trying to build right now. I don't know a team that's done that. Threw all the eggs in the basket, in the preseason, and then they succeeded in the postseason, in the regular season. I haven't seen that in a minute. So
receiver Devontae Adams has joined the Rams.
2-year deal, interesting pickup. Now we still got to see what they're gonna do with Cooper Kupp. They haven't traded Cooper Kupp yet, even though they said that he was given an opportunity because they re-signed Stafford, so Stafford's not going anywhere. So again, he is getting a little long in the tooth. I think Devontae Adams is 32 years old, so this might be his last hoorah, you would say.
But they're saying ESPN on the app, they're saying that the Rams are going to release him if no trade is required, if no trade is made. So I don't know. I mean, for what Cooper Kupp has done for that franchise, man, it's almost like he's being shitted on.
Yeah.
You know
what? From the interviews I've seen with him, he feels the same way.
But that's what I'm going to say. It seems like me, did he rub somebody the wrong way, or is it? I don't understand what is the issue.
He's a superstar in my eyes because of what he's done for that franchise and how he did it. So I don't think he's being looked at. I'm sorry?
Jerry.
Go get him. No.
Go get him. Go get him.
Cooper Kupp and CeeDee Lamb is the same receiver.
Give a shit.
Yeah, but Cooper Kupp is experienced enough to take the back seat.
You need somebody to go over the top, Kev. You got CeeDee Lamb doing all the other stuff. You need somebody to take it deep.
Okay, so if you get Cooper Kupp, then CD can take it deep.
No, not like that. No.
Okay.
No.
But yeah, I think the Rams didn't see him as a superstar. Even a declining superstar, I don't think you get that kind of treatment. When Joe Montana was all disgruntled about Steve Young taking his position and him not getting a chance to get it back, they still gave him an opportunity to go find somewhere he wanted to be and made the trade happen for him. Because him going to Kansas City was no benefit to the 49ers at all. I don't think they got nothing really for him. But yeah, it just goes to show you that, man, when they say it's a business, that's what it is.
Yeah, they'll get you up out of there if they want to. Now I'm about to look up Myles Garrett. Did he sign today?
Yes, he signed back with Cleveland. I think he signed back with Cleveland.
Yes, he did. He got $40 million.
Yeah,
he got $40 million. The Browns just picked up Cody Pickett, free agent
from y'all.
Yeah.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny Pickett. I don't know why I said Cody Pickett.
Yeah, and y'all got DTR in return, didn't you?
I don't see
Dorian Thompson Robinson. Yeah.
Yeah.
5th round. Y'all got a 2025 5th round pick and quarterback Dorian Thompson Robinson.
So they instead of that, they traded for him. So that looks like to me that the Browns are going bottom basement at quarterback just to get them over. They might still draft them somebody at their position, but they trying to get that number low because they are really trying to move on from Deshaun and Watson.
So let me ask you this: for a guy like Myles Garrett, who is obviously one of the top 5 defensive ends in the league, to do all the I want to be traded and I want to go somewhere where I can win and this and that, I'm not happy here, and then to sign for $40 million.
Money talk
with that team to stay there. I get money talks. Go ahead.
In my opinion, from what you just said, by him making that statement, him being a excellent superstar, top tier superstar, he wasn't going to go anywhere. They weren't going to trade him nowhere where he could win. So let us make you the highest paid defensive player. No matter of fact, how was it worded? He's the highest paid player outside of a quarterback.
Yes.
So let us give you this here, slap you in the face with this check, and go and keep doing what you're doing. Because we're not going to send you to a contender. You can cancel that. And you can't afford to lollygag around for 2-3 more years and risk the chance of an injury. So let's go and guarantee you this money. And that's common sense.
Yeah. Now let me take it back to Jerry. Jerry Jones, now you're going to have to pay this man, Michael Parsons, at least $41 million.
No, sir. No, sir.
No.
No, sir. No, sir. They're not. He's not top tier over Myles Garrett. No.
What they 2 different positions too.
No.
I don't think Micah is a full-time defensive end.
No.
I think he's a hybrid when it comes to that. And I see him getting between 28 and 35, but I don't see him getting 40, Kel.
I'm gonna say this to you. What the Browns did it again. They have messed up the free agency when it comes to certain elite players. And what I mean by that, Kev, Cincinnati made a statement at the combine last week that they were going to make Jamar Chase the highest paid non-quarterback player on the field. They made the GM made this statement. And when the Browns have reset the market for a non-quarterback player in a Myles Garrett, I mean, what you think, Chase? What is Chase worth?
I don't think he worth no $40 million a year.
Again, what you think Chase is worth when now this is what you as a GM came out and said? I know no receiver. I don't see him.
Now you're gonna have to pay him at least 41.
That's what I'm saying. So you gotta watch what you say out your mouth because that's what I'm getting at. Because again, this is the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe is Reports have came out that Joe Burrow is getting frustrated with the front office and what they're doing, but they don't have any money to sign nobody. They ain't gonna be able to put a defense on the field. That's what I'm getting at. They franchise tag T. Higgins again, which T. Higgins is making the top 3% of money, which is $28 million.
Right, of receivers.
For franchise, yes.
Right,
Yeah,
but see now what even before they paid him $40 million, I think the highest paid non-quarterback was still making $30+ million. That's something we got to research, but I don't think it's that big of a jump from what he's making to what it already was. I mean, it is a big jump, 5, 10, 5, 9, 8, 9 million. But
I think it was 33.
So you're saying Cincinnati, we're going to make him the highest paid non-quarterback. So they were going to at least give him 34. That's still too much.
But again, you shouldn't have never said nothing. Got the deal done. At least gave him, the highest wide receiver money, whatever that may be.
Right.
He's earned it. The man won the Triple Crown. Without him, Joe Burrow is not Joe Burrow. They've been doing this since college. It is what it is. But you gonna have, and it's no shade at all, Kev. You're gonna be in a situation almost like the Cowboys, where you got 3 players on the offensive side of the ball signed, meaning Joe Burrow. You done gave T. Higgins this money as a franchise tag player, which he can still hold out, and you gonna tie up there now $150 million in 3 players. That's if you go to, and that's on the high end. If you follow me, on the high end.
What they can do though, they can get fancy with the contract.
That's true.
They can give him 3 years at $120 million.
That's true, but it's the
versus 6 or 7 years at $250 million. You get what I'm saying? So, you can give him 2 years at $82 million. You get what I'm saying? So it could be, and then backloaded or front loaded with signing bonus.
And so then you look at it again. Josh Allen just got $333 million or $350 million.
350.
200 and whatever guaranteed money. He's the highest paid quarterback in the league. So they're looking.
Yeah, I think it's 53 million a year. What it comes out to, because Holmes got 10 for 5 years ago, so he was in the 50 million bracket. But they
now that's what I'm saying. The whole market is gonna get reset because either Mahomes gonna ask for some more money, or he got the smart part with him would be to not ask for money and keep trying to build a team up. If that's the case, because he didn't got his chip. But these folks are not gonna have money to have a defense on the side of the field or other players to play, especially if receivers, Jamar Chase is out there. Again, this is what we're looking at when they start giving his money around. But Cincinnati is in a bad situation right now. Bad situation.
Hey, but this comes from GMs trying to do too much. Like stay out. They got the Jerry. I call that the Jerry Jones syndrome. Number one, why would you come out and say something like that as a GM? Who are you? You're not a big name. You're just a GM of a team. So for you to make that statement, like it's already done, we just got to put put pen to paper, and now it's been reset. So what are you gonna do now? Be made a liar? Because that's what's gonna happen. Because they're not gonna give him $41 million.
You see, and it's crazy. Like even with this being said, Joe Horn's son, Jace Horn, is now the number 1 cornerback. He's making over. Got to sign a $100 million contract, $110 million contract. I think all guaranteed at cornerback for the Carolina Panthers. Skip, and that's like 25 or 20-something million dollars a year. And I was like, wow, how did he get this money to be the number 1 cornerback in the league? But then they're going off your stats and things of this nature. So it's a lot of money that's getting thrown around the players that we really don't cover like that, or quietly they're playing ball for these bad teams, but they're actually producing at their position. It's just crazy what we're seeing and how things going on. And right now, again, now you have the Bears. The Bears have went and got defensive line and offensive line. They spending money like hotcakes. And they
Right,
doing
because now they can focus on what they need because they got the quarterback situation pretty much solved, and they got to get protection, and then they got to get defense. So if you use your free agency like the Falcons should have always been doing, use free agency to increase what you need, and then use the draft to get what you think you might need in the future. And that's what the Bears are doing. Kudos to them. But that statement you just put up, Jerry Jones is a better owner than Arthur Blank, 100% true. Because regardless of what he say, Jerry Jones will bring in players.
And he know how to draft. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to spend too much time on damn Scary Jerry, but we're going to go ahead and move into the NBA. We are into, I don't know, got about a month left of the regular season, so the playoff push is on. Fellas, give me your thoughts.
Well, right now everybody's still looking for seeding or what they gonna be. Skip team was on a nice little run until the other night when they got dismantled, and now LeBron has came up with an injury that'll sit him out for 2 weeks. So it's possibly that the Lakers can lose that number 2 seed with him being, they can almost drop down to 4, maybe 5 for what's got left, and that is crucial for what they're trying to do, because as you see now, Denver, OKC, you got Memphis is still lurking around and playing. You got a young Houston team, which I don't really think they're, battle tested to make a run in the playoffs like that. But now it's back up in the air in the West with LeBron sustaining his injury, because they had momentum going. And it doesn't. And Luka came up a little lame also, skipping that game Saturday night. And I'm gonna say this: what I said a week ago or so, Boston looked like the champs. Like they ready to go on that run in the playoffs. And this is what we do a lot of football talk week in and week out. But this is why when we get to this part of the year, we start revving up basketball, because now we see the teams that's rising from the cream to the crop, and we able to discuss and get the breakdown. Everybody's a fan of every team, but this is what we need. We focus on the playoff push.
Right. I think I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kev. Boston had lost 2 of the last 3 before they beat the Lakers the other night.
Let me pull it here.
I think I saw that somewhere. I could be wrong. And when you say, looking at what Boston did to the Lakers, they look like they're in playoff form. I think Boston's issue, if I'm right about the stat I just said, is
no, they were on a 4-game win streak.
They're on a 4-game win streak. Okay. But I think what's going to happen if they lose is going to be complacency. They're going to say, well, we know we can beat them in a 5 or 7 game series. So, if you tweak something, we're going to sit you down and rest. And we've seen in the past where when a star player sits out, how it upsets the balance of the team. I don't wish injuries on nobody, even though I don't like no team but mine. But I just think that if they're going to put the pedal to the metal, they need to start here in the next week or so and keep it there.
Well, what you saying is, Skip, they beating the Lakers, they beating Cleveland, they beating New York. Out of them 4, out of the team they beat. That's who they. I don't know if they got Milwaukee in there, but they beat the top, one of the top 3 seeds. So that's why I was saying that you can see them getting ready to go into their playoff mode. And even the game now, what really disturbed me, they were up. They played against Cleveland. Let me back up. I got that wrong. They lost to Cleveland before they went on this 4-game winning streak. They jumped out on Cleveland 25-3 in the first quarter, Skip, with 7 minutes in the first quarter, and Cleveland walked them down. And there you go, like you said, them resting players and things of that nature. That's why I said we will see all these teams. Cleveland still look like world beaters. Also, I think Cleveland is 1 and 2. Cleveland and Boston is 1 and 2 in the East. And like I say again, it's crazy. We're in year 22 of LeBron's career, and I just have to be respectful and say him getting injured right now hurts the Lakers more than anything far as seeding. They're going to the playoffs, but these next 2 weeks are very crucial for them and what they got going on, losing, home court as a second seed because they wasn't going to catch OKC, but now it's all jumping up where they can start on the road as a 5th seed instead of a 2 seed or whatever.
I think.
Go ahead, Skip.
I think there's 3 or 4 more weeks. If he's going to sit out 2, I don't think they drop to 5 unless they just fall off the map as far as offensive play. Luka's still Luka. Before he got Kyrie, he was doing the dang thing in Dallas. You get what I'm saying? So these players understand how to play with Luka now. So I think they'll hold strong. Maybe, like you said, drop 2 seeds or whatever. But I don't think they'll go from 2 to 5 unless something, catastrophic happens.
The Rockets are only 1 game behind them, and they currently sit in the 5 seed. Denver, who's in the 3 seed, is 1 game ahead, but they have 1 more loss. And I'm assuming y'all beat them when y'all played. All right. Well, what I was going to say a second ago, over in the East, the hometown team, we'll talk about them, the Atlanta Hawks, still under 500, but they've moved up into that 7 seed.
The Hawks are one of those teams where I ain't gonna say the players are playing above their heads, but they're playing above average basketball for what they got. If that makes sense. They're all NBA players. I never aspire to say that I could be where they are, do what they're doing. But on paper, they shouldn't be doing what they're doing with what they got. So the fact that goes to good coaching, that goes to chemistry, that goes to players understanding whose role is what. Because you don't hear the superstar complaining about getting the ball or not getting the screens and stuff he needs. They're just playing good basketball. And cohesiveness makes that happen. So kudos to the Atlanta Hawks. I just don't see it lasting for them because they're small.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, they're a small team. So I think they're beating people with speed and running and energy versus, manhandling certain teams and outscoring other teams. They're just energy in them. You know what I mean? So kudos to them, man.
D.
Again, the Atlanta Hawks, they traded away a lot to do what they're doing. I think Trae Young came and got a little injury, like a little hip flexor or something the other night. But again, the East is the East. They're playing good team ball, but they're not going to go there first because they don't have the depth to go. I mean, the team looks okay at times. They'll shock you and beat somebody like a Boston. But then they're not going that far. And it's just what it is. And to be truthful about the matter.
Yeah, I can see that. So right now, as the 6th seed, they'll be playing the 5th seed, which is more likely Milwaukee, correct? If the playoffs were to start today.
No, 4 and 5 play each other.
Oh, 4 and 5. So 3 and 6 play each other.
Yes.
And 2 and 7 and 1 and 8. Gotcha.
Yes.
So they'd be playing probably a Cleveland or OKC. No, OKC is West. Who else? Miami? No.
You got Miami.
Yeah, Miami's in the top 3, correct?
No,
it's Milwaukee.
You got it's Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's Milwaukee.
Number 3. So you got you got Cleveland, Boston, Milwaukee.
Right. So right now, if the playoffs were to start, they be playing in Milwaukee and they get swept. I think they get swept if they had to go in the playoffs playing Milwaukee in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And bad as I hate to say it, as good as I think Cleveland is, I think the Hawks would probably take them to 5, maybe 6 games. Cleveland.
Possibility. The only difference, they got one of the Hawks, DeAndre Hunter, playing over there now. And again, the Hawks go as Trae Young go. It is what it is. If he's injured and they don't have him as a scorer and a distributor, no. But again, they're a scrappy team because you don't know who's going to do what at any given night outside of Trae Young. You follow me?
Right.
I meant to ask you, because it wasn't our subject while Kev is away. How do you feel about LeBron James stepping to Stephen A. Smith on the sideline? Now, I give you some backstory before
I know exactly what happened.
Outside of what that is. LeBron made a statement a couple of months ago that Bronny doesn't care about what the media says and so forth and so on. Stephen A. made his statement, which every one of us know what he did on live. And you being a father, how do you feel? I'm gonna give you, a little devil's advocate in that. And how do you feel about it? Once you make a statement, I'm gonna give you the devil's advocate, because I even asked my son how would he feel, and being that when LeBron's mother did it to KG them, and if you remember, she did the same thing to KG and Paul Pierce while they were playing in the game, and LeBron told her to go sit her ass down.
Right.
So you go and
okay. I had an argument on Facebook. It's been drawn out for 2 days now about this same subject. When LeBron stepped to Stephen A. Smith, it wasn't about the basketball player LeBron, it was about the father LeBron. And Stephen A. Smith is a hater. He's a king hater. If it ain't what he thinks it should be, he's gonna bash it. My argument is this, and I got a thing here on Facebook I'm gonna send to y'all so y'all can hear it. I was gonna play it on the air just now. This guy made this little short clip. Bronny got drafted 55. There's only 56 picks.
mm-hmm.
In fact, I think he wasn't the last pick. But so the second to the last pick. 54 people were drafted in front of him. The guy that was drafted third averages 3 points a game. The guy that was drafted 17th averages 2.7 points a game. The guy that was drafted 40-something averages 1.6. Bronny averages 1.5. You don't hear nothing about them because they're not Bron's son. This goes to show you that it's hate more so than broadcasting and talking about the NBA. How can the talk be about one player that was drafted 55 and not about the player that was drafted third? You know what? Hold on. See if y'all can hear this. Y'all got to hear this.
How he feel. And
I'm sorry. Hold on.
When LeBron's
Let me close this. I got to get this to play. Hold on. Well. Anyway, my point is this. As soon as I can get this to play, you can't just harp on what a player that's in the G League is doing, and you're not comparing them to the players he was drafted behind. You're comparing them to seasoned NBA vets. You're trying to say that LeBron put the weight of the world, NBA world, on his son's shoulders when he didn't. He never did that. All he did was say what he said about his son, who he believes in. But for Stephen A. to constantly blame LeBron for getting his son in the NBA, you do the same thing for your child. Anybody would. You get what I'm saying? Doc Rivers got 2 kids that really can't play, but they're in the NBA.
One kid and Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers could play.
Okay, but what about the other one?
Huh?
No, who that had 2 sons in the league?
Austin Rivers. Jock Rivers only got 1 son. Curry got Curry.
He's averaging over 10 minutes a game.
Okay, here we go. Listen to this real quick.
2024 draft is averaging a whopping draft. In 2024 is averaging 2.7 points a game. Again, 23rd pick of the NBA draft. I guess he shouldn't have been drafted either. He's underperforming. Reed Shepherd, the 3rd overall pick of the 2024 draft, is averaging a whopping 3.9 points a game. This is why we say y'all just hating on Bronny, because there's people in the league doing similar or a little bit better than what he's doing at the 55th overall pick.
It's the name.
His heart stopped like 2 years ago. The 3rd overall pick is averaging 2.5 more points than Bronny, who's only getting 4 minutes a game. Almost every person in the top 10 is averaging over 10 minutes a game. Some of them getting 20 plus minutes a game. Y'all hate black nepotism, boy. Damn.
I don't think that.
And see that right there, when it's put on a platform like Facebook, Instagram, whatever, people start to see it for what it is. If Bronny had been a braggadocious type player, all loud and pumping his chest or whatever, get on him. He's not that guy. The guy very seldom does interviews because he knows whatever he says is going to be scrutinized with a microscope. And they're going to say, well, you said this and you didn't do it. And your dad did this and your dad did that and blah, 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 versus grading him on the class he came out with. And that's my argument about that. So when people say, oh, it ain't hate, what else could it be? If this guy don't bring out that the third overall pick only averages 3.6 points a game and nobody else knows that, what else can it be? Go ahead, D.
Well, okay, so as a father, outside of the basketball world, I asked my son, and he told me he would have got mad and got upset at me for doing that. And the reason, walking up to another individual, what LeBron did, saying, stop talking about my son, blah, 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 blah. My son today and other parents have said, hey, I would have been a little upset at you, Dad, for doing that. Let me be a man. Let me handle that situation. I mean, just think about it, Skip. See, we're looking at it because it's LeBron James' son. He's now a professional athlete. He's like a grown man in a grown man's job. Eventually, because in my opinion, we know this is LeBron. It's because it's LeBron James' kid. We know this. Everything he's done is scrutinized. It is what it is. They did put a bullseye on that kid, him coming into the league. Well, like you said, regardless of what we're looking at stats, if he was playing on a consistent basis in the league, everybody would be going hard at him. I'm telling the truth.
Of course.
And so forth. So
they're going even harder and he's not playing. That's the problem.
So you're talking about the kid, and like you said, he's not playing, but at the same time, you're going to eventually have to let him deal with that scrutiny as a man. So what if he wasn't LeBron James' son?
Okay, what if he wasn't LeBron James' son? He wouldn't be mentioned. The 54 guys that got drafted in front of him are not mentioned.
I'm just in. Okay, then. So again, if he were, we have seen other players outside of LeBron James' son that got drafted that were busts. I don't care, across the league. We seen Ryan Leaf blow up. He was number two pick.
But the point is, I got to rebut what you just said about the kids. I understand different kids have different outlooks on what they want their parents to do. But if Stephen A. Smith don't say, I blame LeBron, it's LeBron's fault. If LeBron hadn't did this, then Bronny wouldn't be in this situation. Yeah, as a daddy, I'm going to step up and say, shut your mouth about my child. You can't bash me. So you're going to bash my child? How can what can he bash LeBron on? He's not better than Jordan. That's it. And that's a fruitless argument because he's beat him in every category.
Who?
Jordan. The only thing Jordan got more than him is MVPs and championships. That's it.
No, okay, we not even finna start that.
Okay, but again, he's impeachable. So let's bash him through his son, or let's bash his son through him. Stephen A. Smith leads everything off. Well, I blame LeBron. It's LeBron's fault that his son is getting all this scrutiny. It's not. It's not. If you were talking about everybody else in that draft class, half as much as you would talk about LeBron, you wouldn't have time to talk about LeBron's son, Bronny. You wouldn't have a chance to talk about it because all those other players that got these guaranteed contracts in the first top 10, 15, 40, 50 million, whatever it was, they're not performing either. And they're getting paid way more and they're playing way more. So we don't get to hear about none of that. We just gonna hear about the guy that got drafted second to last. This is where it's hate. And if people say the daddy shouldn't have said nothing, watch this, D. Hypothetical. You know how big I am. You know me. If I walk your son down in the Publix and jump on him, you're not gonna come to your son's aid?
Yeah,
exactly.
You better hope I don't see him by accident.
It's not physical. It's the same exact thing. It's just not physical. His son could not be an outspoken guy. We don't know because we don't see him in the interview. So let me go ahead and say, hey, man, be a professional and stop focusing on my child. That's my damn cap. He didn't say nothing about NBA. He said, stop fucking with my son. Excuse my French. Let my son live. You every day it's about Bronny for you. I'm pretty sure you have more topics, but you make it about my son.
Well, I'm agreeing with you, but this is ESPN's fault also as a whole, because they every single day when they talk basketball, of course he's the face of the NBA. They talk about the Lakers, and this is why I agree with what Charles Barkley came out and said. I know we got to go, Kev. When he said what ESPN talks about on a regular basis, they talk and outside of the Lakers, we can go back from the Cleveland days to the Miami days, now to the Lakers days. They have talked about LeBron James, regardless, whatever was going outside in basketball. Right. I mean, we can agree to this. Now you have something else to talk about besides what they're doing on the court. And I agree with you. Nobody be talking about these picks. The Hawks got the one rookie, the number one draft pick. He might be averaging 10 points a game. Don't even get talked about. You don't get a highlight out of him. The number 2 pick plays for the Washington Bullets. You don't hear anything, nothing, this, that, and the third. The only time we seen these kids when it was All-Star weekend, you don't hear anything out of these people. You'll get the next year or maybe the third if they come into their own or whatever. But Kev, I know we got to go. You got to get your US.
Yes. Give me 1 second here.
I got to get you too, because I think I got another site for us, Skip.
Okay.
Yeah. I was able to put it on here and send it to the TV.
See, that's what I used to do, and
that's what I was doing until it stopped here recently.
The usual site was working for me. The usual site was working for me this weekend, but you just have to do it from the computer.
Yeah, so Kev is correct, but one of our other buddies gave me something, and sir, I was able to send it straight to the TV, and I was like, oh, y'all have messed up now.
We finna go to UFC.
Yes.
We was wrong, weren't we?
And I fell asleep on it.
Hang on. Let me start us off with this.
Yes.
Alex Pereira shouldn't have lost his title.
Uh-oh.
Going into round 5, you had a 2-2 fight, and the 5th round was dead even. Both got shots in. Both defended takedowns. That was a draw. That was to hear unanimous decision. Now, Skip, you asked me a question last week. You said, is this going to be a real challenge for Pereira? And I told you yes. The champ did not look great, but I don't think he did enough to lose that fight. But either way, Magomedov Ankalaev is the new light heavyweight champion. I assume, let me pull it up here. I assume Yuri is going to come and try to take a shot for the next.
I think Alex Pereira should get a shot back at his belt before he fights anybody else.
Now, here's how it's going to work. Here's how it always works with UFC. So there's champion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 top 15. Alex Pereira will now drop down to 3. He'll drop down to number 2. Number 1 is the number 1 contender. He will go fight Ankalaev while Pereira fights number 3.
That's not right.
Pereira has to win one fight. It's basically go win a fight so we make sure you're not on a streak before we have you losing 2 main events in a row.
Yeah, but like you said, if it was, I didn't get to see the fight. I was, busy or whatever. But if it was like you said, where he shouldn't have lost the belt, and it fell to what the judges saw, or what they thought they saw, or what they perceived as him not doing enough, then why would you make him go fight another hungry fighter that has nothing to lose and that's just going to let him go and possibly knock him out on a fluke versus giving this man a shot to reclaim his title? That's why boxing has the mandatory rematches, the clause for the champions to put in there when they sign these contracts. I just don't think it's fair to make him go fight somebody else that don't want to lose their spot just to get a chance to go back and take his belt.
Ankalaev attempted 12 takedowns. Skip, do you know how many of those takedowns were successful?
Probably 2.
0. A guy who does not wrestle defended 12 takedowns from a guy who wrestles.
So
well, hold on. When you say real quick, D, I know a bunch of guys, Rampage Jackson and Chuck Liddell, do not wrestle, and they defended the hell out of takedowns all their career. So let's not make it like that's an anomaly. You get what I'm saying? Those 2 guys didn't wrestle at all. So no. That's just good practice and good coaching.
But Alex Pereira's takedown defense is all leading up to this fight was the questionable weak spot.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So for him to come out and go 0 and go, not get taken down once in 12 attempts by a guy who was piecing him up. I mean, there were some, but he was landing some shots on him. But go ahead, D.
Go ahead.
So my question is, where your stat sheet at so we can get a breakdown of what exactly it was the strikes and the takedowns? Because I can honestly tell you, I watched 3 of the fights, Skip, and it was taking, and Kev can attest to this, it was taking forever for the Pereira fight to get started. I think it went past 12 o'clock before this fight started, and I was like, what is going on?
It didn't end until about 1:30.
Yeah, and and when I tell you, Skip, it was like 12:15. They hadn't got in the ring yet. It was taking a while because I got sleepy. I'm not gonna lie to you. So
I took a nap through the 4th fight.
The
second fight on the card. I set a little 20-minute timer on my phone, and I just
listen. And I totally agree with Kev. I was sitting there watching the fight, and I was like, man, come on, y'all got to get this over with because we need to see what's going on. And it usually don't take this long.
Right.
But what I did notice, usually every time we talk about this, when we got the champion, and it's always the challenger is hungry, and they usually beat them by a form of decision because they in there playing they chicken fighting. If I would just say it like that, you grab and tussling, you want to hold and grapple and hug. That's the only thing I've seen in the UFC when they have to go 5 rounds and things of this nature.
But go ahead, D. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
So that's the only thing, Kev. Every single time, and you are our top analyst here with the UFC. You give us these fighters. We end up knowing some of them because of you. We know who the main champion is, how it's booked, how it's promoted, everything. And it seems like when whoever gets to the top of the mountain, up and coming, or somebody, a no name, or whatever you give us, seems to sneak out a victory with a decision.
But Kev, I got a question. Isn't one of the judging factors is aggression, ring aggression?
The aggressor, like in
boxing.
No,
ring control, right? I know ring control is one. Like, if you stay in the middle of the ring and you bring the fight, you don't back up.
Yeah, you're not backing up.
Right. So if ring aggression, and I don't know, I'm asking you, is one of those factors that they contribute, and this guy was constantly trying to take him down, even though it was being defended, could that be what swung the 5th round in his favor?
Not really with UFC, because being aggressive can get you knocked the fuck out.
Exactly. But I don't know. Of course it can, because
all combat sports, weightlifting, stuff like that, it's controlled aggression is kind of the term for it. But I mean, the aggression in UFC would go behind your punches and your takedowns. You pick them up and slam them versus just taking them down.
Right.
And that's why I was asking you if you could pull it up for the people that don't know. Because I know it's, like I said, the striking, like in boxing more or less, you got power punches, you got punches landed, and so forth and so on. But
I know ring control is one.
Yeah, but in UFC, being that you got strikers and grapplers, I have seen guys winning decisions because they picking up, like Skip said, they picking up and slamming them to the mat, and they getting points off of that. And it's terrible because I'm like, you see them on the ground, damn near 2 minutes in a hole, and they wrestling and jostling. Get up and let's see them fight.
But see, now that's the boxing aspect of it that people like me and you that are not into UFC, like say Kev is, I understand now, having watched it more because of him. It's about that wrestling too, because you can tire your person out a lot quicker than you can in boxing by just hitting them in the stomach. Yeah. So the amount of strength and exertion you have to do to get out of those holes that you're talking about will kill you standing up. So it works both ways.
Rogan said it the best ringside. I think it was 2 months ago. The crowd was booing because their 5-minute rounds, they had been on the ground for like 4 minutes of the round.
Yes.
And this was like two or three rounds of this.
Yes.
And Rogan said it the best. He said, basically, fuck all the people booing, because this is what you have to do to win fights.
Yes.
This is a person, they're fighting a person who is stronger than them, bigger than them, and faster than them. So by holding them down and making them wrestle, he's tiring them out.
That's right.
Making them use muscles they're not used to using.
Yeah, I remember the fight you talking about, and that guy got the belt too. I know exactly what you talking about. And they booed him when the belt exchanged. Mm-hmm. They were booing him profusely.
But that's all right. He got the belt. And see, the thing is, and this is why I think a lot of people hate Floyd Mayweather, because he just didn't go out there and brawl and stand toe to toe and just throw punches. He was looking at the bigger picture, and he's an excellent defensive fighter. So let me put the rules to the test. I'm gonna show you how to get hit and not get hit. And people hated it because, number one, they want to see him lose. But number two, nobody was good enough to penetrate his defense to hurt him. Well, he got hurt a couple of times, but he came back like a champ after that.
All right. Well,
so Kev, what we got next on the docket? Because again, this Pereira has lost this belt how many times now? This third?
One. No, this is his first time.
Okay, so what he lose? Wait a minute. What belt he lost to Iggy? Hello?
He didn't lose a belt to.
Yes, he did. I thought he took the belt from Iggy. Iggy came back and took the belt from him, and then he came back and got Iggy and got the belt back, or they were just fighting.
They were just fighting. The whole reason that Alex Pereira came to the UFC was just to mess with Adesanya.
Yeah, I know.
It was literally just to mess with Adesanya. So yeah, they fought a couple of times, but Iggy became the champ after they fought, and then when they fought again,
he took the belt from Iggy.
He took the belt because this is where he's had the belt from.
Yeah, I agree. So okay, that's what I was trying to figure out. I just knew they was. I know they had 3 fights. That's what I do remember. Them having 3 fights, I do believe. And then the other guy that beat Iggy, they were trying to make it a rivalry. Mm-hmm. And now I did hear with him losing this belt, is a possibility he can start training for the heavyweight division, which I don't know about that. But
no, because then you go out at the end of the day, you got to go fight John Jones. And
that's what I'm talking about.
I don't think anybody's stupid for that. Just wait till he retires and gives up the belt. All right. Well, the next fight we got is April 12th. Well, there are, of course, fight nights and whatnot in between, but the next pay-per-view will be April 12th, and that will be Alexander Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopez.
Is this middleweight?
Featherweight.
Featherweight, okay.
Yes, and the co-main event for that, actually 2 of my favorite fighters, Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett. So that's going to be a tough one for me to choose between.
Patty is the guy with the colorful hair?
No, that's Sean O'Malley.
Gotcha. Okay, the Michael Chandler guy, he's undefeated, right?
No, 23-9.
No, that's boxing. There's a guy in boxing that's the young guy that's in boxing coming up, and they're saying he's going to be the next problem for everybody. Okay, I got him confused.
Yep. But that should be 2 very good fights coming up here soon.
And these guys, those 2 guys are all real lightweights, right? Featherweights or something like that. The Chandler and the other guy. Pimlet.
Yeah, so that will be next month on April 12th. Pete, give me your last take.
Thank you everybody for tuning in to this tonight. Again, go check your favorite team, your NFL team, free agent friends that has started. As we speak, a lot of moving around is still going on now. People are going different places. People are getting paid. Some of these guys this is their last contract. So these are some of the moves they're making. And you have a question asking, why is this guy going to this team? He's got a Super Bowl ring. Now he's going to get paid. But yeah, thank you very much for everyone tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, and see you next week.
To echo these sentiments, I appreciate everybody for tuning in and commenting the way you guys do. We wouldn't have 49 for life, you know it, and we wouldn't be a podcast without you guys tuning in and communing with us. Now, real quick, the LeBron James thing. I get it. He's a professional athlete now. He deserves scrutiny like everybody else. But it's so uneven, the amount of scrutiny that this guy is getting commensurate to everybody else that was drafted in front of him that were deemed better than him. It goes to question what's Stephen A's motive, what's everybody's motive for talking about him when he's not contributing to the NBA at all outside the 3-4 minutes he gets on the court in every 4 or 5 games. So if we look at it for what it is and stop being a LeBron hater, we'll understand what's going on. It's almost like they're taking shots at the man for no reason. But other than that, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank y'all. See y'all next week.
Damn, I know how Dak Prescott feels, Skip.
Dak Prescott ain't got no son in the league.
Yeah, but he is the most scrutinized player in the NFL.
Because Dak Prescott make $40 million a year.
You know, I would say anybody that's the Cowboy quarterback, even him, and that's one of those teams, again, Skip, what we talked about. Regardless of what's going on, they got to have some subject matter. But go ahead, Kev, I'm sorry.
Right.
I really ain't got no last take. I'm about to mess up this food. So for everybody that tuned in, thank you very much. We will be back next week at the same time, same place. Until then, please make sure that the beer is cold and the wings stay lemon pepper, baby. We are out.